Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over, where two guys, some gear, and an occasional guest have a lot of fun. Joining me is Jeff Blanchard from the Down Over side of things. How are you today, Jeff?
Good, thanks, Rick. And yourself?
I am doing great. And here's our intro. And we're back. Hey, Jeff, that was quite a week this week. Busy,
Yes,
lots of little news tidbits. And you've been busy, too. You put up together a whole show today. Lots of information.
Well, I like to go through and just document something so I'm not rambling. It might be documented rambling, but at least I'll have a sort of plan of what we're going to talk about.
No, that's good. It actually organizes everything. So I'm a little more organic. I think about it, but then I don't put it down. Just depends. But organization is a good thing. So here we are. We've got a lot of things to talk about, some of them pretty interesting. Let's see. Do you want to start with that Bluetooth keyboard?
Well, I'll probably go in the order so I'll know where I'm going at the moment. So I'll put down in my notes the theme for the show today was we can all learn something new. And as part of that, I came across a new site and I was thinking, how many times do you come across some little bit of information you just didn't know? Well, I came across a YouTube channel that just did that. Now, if you've got that, have you got that?
I do. I've got about a minute and a half. You want me to play it?
Yeah, just play that now.
Okay, here we go.
Only to realize too late that you forgot to check which side the fill port was on. Rather than being caught doing the walk of shame, you can avoid the embarrassment altogether by glancing at the pump icon on your gas gauge. There's a little arrow pointing to the side you need to fill up on. It's the season for grilling, and if you want to switch things up at your next party, why not skip the lighter fluid and try starting your charcoal with a handful of potato chips? They make a surprisingly flammable tinder and will easily burn long enough to light up a stack of coals. And this way you won't get that lighter fluid taste in your meat. Ah, the kiwi fruit. It's so exotic and so delicious, but how do you peel it without hacking it up and leaving so much fruit on the skins? The solution is so simple you won't believe it. Try using a spoon. Just cut the ends of the kiwi, then push your spoon inside, making sure the back slides in along the peel. Now carefully work the spoon around the inside edge until the entire fruit pops right out. How embarrassing. Your tie keeps getting twisted out of place, and it's so frustrating to have to keep checking and straightening it all the time, isn't it? Let's rig up a permanent fix with an old dress shirt and a pair of scissors. Carefully cut the front strips so you end up with a piece just a bit longer than the two buttonholes. Now the next time you dress up, simply slip one of these tie savers through the keeper loop on your tie. Fasten it to the buttons on your shirt, and now your tie will always be straight, look great, and fall back into place even when it gets knocked around in the wind. The frustration that comes when wrapping up leftovers because the rolls keep pulling up out of the boxes. Sometimes they seem more trouble than they're worth, but luckily there's a quick and easy fix. Just get a knife and cut a downward facing arrow on the ends of the boxes directly in the center. Now simply push these tabs inward to secure the roll in place and keep it conveniently in the box every time you pull. By the way, some boxes already have little push tabs built right in, so start using them and make your life that much easier. Do you wake up in the morning with a stiff neck and a headache? It might be because your pillow is cranking on your spine all night long. But rather than spending loads of money on specialty pillows, try lifting your head a bit and tucking the edge of your pillow under your neck. Lay back down with the corners over top of your shoulders, and you've just made an ergonomic support for your neck and head. This will help straighten out your spine and instantly make any pillow you're using feel like it should have cost a lot more.
And it looks like that's where we ended it. That is pretty cool. Now, what blew me away on this one, I never knew Pringles were flammable.
Well, that's what really got me. I thought all this, and that thing with the petrol cap. I said I've been driving for over 35 years, and with numerous cars, and every time you think of which side is the petrol cap on, and I mean you drive the damn thing into it thousands of times, but you still have to think. And I didn't know that did have the little pitch. I thought, no, it's probably not on all cars. So I jumped into my car and went and had a look, and sure enough, there's a little angle on there. And I drive two cars, and both of one has it on one side and one has it on the other. So invariably, I get it on the wrong side pretty much every time.
And it's funny. I have it on my card. I've just never paid attention to it. I just thought it was just a symbol, but it actually tells you what side it's on. It's rather interesting. Now, I couldn't tell because I didn't hear it. What was he doing with the tie? Was that getting rid of a stain or?
What he was doing with the tie was quite ingenious, and I'm going to use that. What he did was he got an old shirt and cut off about 6 inches of where your buttons are off for an old white shirt, and then stuck it through the tie and then used the buttons to button it to the shirt again. Oh. So like a tie clip, but without the tie clip at the front. And I thought, gee, that was quite an ingenious...
now, I have one for you. See if you know this one. I learned this from a girl who used to work at Allen Communications. And one time we went to a restaurant and I spilled a little bit of, I think it was Coke or something spilled right on my shirt. And she went, oh. And I was going, great. And I think it was tomato sauce maybe. And it was like, oh, great. And she goes, not a problem. We have soda water. She used soda water. A little bit of soda water, put it on, came right off.
It's amazing how just things like soda water, I think, and vinegar, one of the main things that do a lot of things. But, I mean, I just can't believe that just something little like these things that you go along so far in life and don't know. But then again, why do they bother putting them? Nobody ever tells you about them. But and this fella gets plenty of views by the looks of him. His name's Grant Thompson, and his channel is the King of Random.
King of Random.
So hasn't got much of anything to do with tech. Why are we talking about it? But I just thought it's interesting for people.
Techies love weird facts. I know I do. I love strange facts like that because.
And the first thing that got me was the first item was a sort of techie thing was. You know, when you get a game on your mobile device and that, it's got all the adverts on it. I never even thought of. He thought, well, how do you get around that if you don't want to pay for it? Well, you just switch your phone to aeroplane mode, and it blocks all the communication, so it can't play the ads.
Yep, that's funny. That's true.
I thought such a straightforward idea, and as I said, but I don't think I'll be using the Pringles because I think they'll probably be more expensive than the fire starters.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Now I've got to try it one day. I got to have Leslie to make a barbecue, and I'm going to throw a bunch of chips in, and I wonder if the chips will then, if the beef or whatever will now taste like potato chips.
Pringles. That's right. So, and when he did something like the kiwi fruit. I thought that was an interesting one because I'm sure everybody peels them like they did in the first place. And I just wish they'd do something like that with boiled eggs, but you can't do that because if you do it wrong, you have half of it stuck to the shell.
Yep. Now it's interesting because these are all just simple, normal things that it's almost like folk wisdom, if you will, and everybody just knows how to do little things like that. Like my mom, when she was young, she would say. When they were young, they would put a cabbage leaf on their stomach or lettuce on their stomach, and when they would wake up in the morning, they wouldn't have a tummy ache anymore. And the lettuce was so it's an old wives' tale, but it seems to work, and it just probably works on pulling out humidity or something or moisture, and it calms you. Interesting. Sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate. If you have a tummy ache, will get rid of the tummy ache. Indigestion. It works.
And that's probably why I remember as a little kid what you used to do when you got sick. Parents used to get plain lemonade and just boil it.
Yep.
And that probably did the same thing as that but it was you used to look forward to getting a bit of a cold then, so it didn't make it any difference.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing he had on there that was quite interesting is taking a picture of your detail or contact details and putting it on your lock screen if you wanted that. That's a good idea, but sometimes you might not want people to know where you are and you'd rather lose your phone.
And of course the average criminal would say, hey, now I know where he lives, now I can steal the rest of his gear.
Yeah. I would probably say, hey, this is me, this is my email address, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But that was even a good idea, how to use your sort of lock screen on there. But I still think it was, I'm going to keep an eye on him and see if he comes up with any other ones. But he gets plenty of views on YouTube.
Does he have a lot of videos?
He does have a lot of videos and has millions of views on that and hundreds of thousands of people following him. Now, that brought me to before we move on to the next thing with YouTube, like he's got so many views on there, I just wonder how they record their views, because I watch and listen to Leo Laporte most weeks and he posted a quick little video he did on the iPhone 6 with a hyperlapse recording of his trip into London. It's about a 3-minute video, just going through the London buses and all that. And I thought, when he mentioned something like that on a show and puts it on YouTube, how many views would you say he would get?
Oh, I don't know, 100,000.
It says 325.
325 views. Yeah, see?
And I think that's impossible to, personally, I think once Leo would say something, I know, like, I went to it just to have a look. And I'm not an avid
but I
follower,
also, I don't know how YouTube really calculates views, because on Vimeo we get a lot more views than YouTube, and it's a much smaller audience. Go figure. So I'm not sure. And you look at the statistics and you go, no way. I've gotten, we were doing literally less than 1,000 a month on YouTube, and we were getting 20,000 on Vimeo. And you go, that doesn't make sense.
That's right. I thought, because I'm sure Leo, just by mentioning it, he would get at least 1,000 or 2,000, wouldn't he? You would think at least a few thousand would be on there rather than just hundreds.
Or maybe he's reached the point of complete overexposure.
Maybe because he,
Now, maybe if Sarah Lane or one of the other pretty girls there would have done it, they would have gotten more views. Hard to say.
And now, well, just say, moving on from there was just for just a couple of things that he might want to try. And then this is where we're looking at that laser projected keyboard.
Ah, yes, here we go. Now, we don't have a video of that, but this is interesting. Now, have you seen how this works?
I have. I'll just say, they said the unit is about the size of about a small hard drive that connects to your computer via Bluetooth.
Now, does it use like a little stream, or is it strictly light?
It's strictly light, so it will just broadcast it, on any flat surface. And it also has a sensor in it, so it will detect your hand movements, so you can use your mouse, your finger as a mouse, and double click. And I thought, how does that damn well do that?
I don't know. That's pretty amazing. There were several years ago, and I remember this because there were virtual displays that were done through moisture. They would put out a very fine mist that would come up, and I got to move a little bit this way. You can see, this way. So the mist and the TV was the display was right in the middle of all that, and it was clear. It was beautiful. You could make it larger, smaller. I don't know if I think that came out, but I don't think it was a big seller. It was too expensive. But it's fascinating. Through the mist, you could see the monitor quite clearly, a virtual monitor, and you can make a pretty large one out of that. And this is a virtual keyboard, but now it has to be on, I imagine, an even surface.
Yes.
And probably not glass. I wonder how it would do on glass. And when you type, it actually, I guess it has a matrix of all the coordinates, and when you type, it just knows where you are in that matrix.
Wow. And it would have it would hope it would make a very loud noise when you do hit your point, so because that's the only thing with a keyboard.
Well, that's
you've hit the key.
Okay, now let me ask you. I hate this about the Apple products, at least the iPad and the iPhone. There's absolutely no haptic response.
No.
So you never know when you type. And this is even more idiotic. Now, Apple, this is stupid. Listen to me. Stupid. You don't have upper and lower case that you can see.
No.
How dumb is that?
And remember, on their earlier keyboards, they had quite a pronounced, and they were really good keyboards. They were quite a bit thicker than that, but that doesn't make too much difference. Like, I'm liking that projected keyboard.
Yeah.
But it looked like it costs about $150.
Yeah.
But as I said, I like it because I like geeky things and just new technology. But honestly, I don't know whether it would make any difference to me, because you're taking up the space on the desk with a little unit that projects it.
Right.
And I think I might stick with my keyboard, but I'd like to have that just to have somebody say, "What are you doing?" Oh,
Now,
I'm typing.
I've been reading more about mechanical keyboards. These are very common in gaming now, and they actually have more of a mechanical function, not squishy, yucky like most of the keyboards. They're very sharp, very clean, and I guess in gaming they're popular because it's instant response. And that's one of the things I'm probably going to buy one of them, but there are some under 100, but they're averaging 150 to 180. That's a lot of money for a keyboard. They have a lot of features. They have macro keys, all sorts of stuff, but they're not cheap. Razer, Razer, makes a pretty good one. I think they have a cheap one, and then they have one that's like or Corsair had one. Corsair has a $180 keyboard. And it looks cool, but and it's wired. None of them, I think, are non-wired, which is even more interesting.
Have you seen? There's one it's quite expensive. I can't remember the price, but if you had a feel, you would love it. Called Das Keyboard out of Germany.
I have heard of it.
Oh, I've had somebody bought one, and I just thought it's like going back 20 years.
Okay, like the old IBM
the
keyboards.
Original IBM keyboard that just felt. And you could just feel everything hitting your fingers back, and it's very loud, but it's a great keyboard.
Wow. And Leslie would like one of those, my wife, because she loves those. She kills her keyboard. She learned how to type on a manual typewriter. She can type 75 words a minute or something like that, but she types like she's attacking it. And even I keep telling her, it's a digital keyboard. It's you don't have to hit it hard. And you hear, and she destroys it. They last 2 to 3 years, and they're gone with her. Just gone.
But the thing is with keyboards as well, the older ones, they sort of were designed to hold your fingers in there so your fingers don't slip off, whereas the current ones, if you sort of cough, you're slightly off, and you start, even if you touch type, your fingers are off the right keys.
That's right.
Whereas you can quite easily feel with I know you've got your home keys, but it's still sometimes a bit awkward to find on those flat ones.
Yeah, so I'm dying to try one of the mechanical keyboards because I suspect they have a much shorter throw, so you don't have to hit so hard, and it works really well. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't know if I want to spend $180 though. But there are some that are about $90 or $70. So Logitech makes one, but that's like $160. So they're pretty expensive. All right, let's move on to your next gimmick and toy here.
I would just say, while I was on the keyboard, so there was still one other keyboard that I forgot to mention there that was one for about $69.95. And the thing why I like that one, it's a Bluetooth keyboard, but the thing is what it does, has a 3 switching settings, so you can tune it to your iPhone, your iPad, and all 3 items, and just click to attach it to one to the other. Because usually, if you've got one synced, it's very awkward. It will be synced at all the same time. So you have your iMac, your iPhone, and your iPad working quickly together. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, let's take a little video of it. Here we go.
Introducing the multi-sync Bluetooth keyboard from Connex. A full-sized wireless keyboard that includes a full numeric keypad and arrow keys. You can conveniently share one keyboard between multiple devices, and Bluetooth keys for simple, one-touch switching from one device to another, so you can stay connected to your desktop computer. And with the touch of a button, you're controlling your iPad. Prop up your iPad or iPhone with the included stand, and adjust the angle to a level that's comfortable. This keyboard was designed specifically for easy navigation of all your Apple devices, including a home button for your iPad and iPhone. The Connex Multi-Sync Keyboard, designed for your Mac, iPhone, and iPad.
That's pretty cool. It's a nice keyboard, and once again, this is my opinion. Apple, why do you make the worst keyboards on earth? They suck. They're crummy. You charge a lot for those systems, and you put in these crummy $30 keyboards that are really just not well built. Get a Logitech 750, much better than an Apple keyboard. And this Canex, it's nice. It's cute. It looks like a pretty nice keyboard. I don't know how it feels, but it looks good.
Because it looks quite similar. It looks like they've tried to pinch the design so it matches quite similar to the Apple, but it looks like the keys are a bit more chunkier and that. than the other ones. And also, you get about 20 cents worth of plastic where you can sit your iPhone on.
Okay. Interesting.
So they have a little stand for that. But I thought, that was a good idea, that at least you've got something to stand it. I suppose you could do your iPad as well.
Interesting. It looked like a good keyboard.
Yeah.
It's a good keyboard's hard to find, especially on the Mac side. Though I don't know if you're using the Mac keyboard or if you're using the Logitech K750. I like the Logitech keyboard. It's bigger, and yet it's thin, and it's completely, and this is cool, completely solar.
Oh yes, I've got one of those. Because you recommended it to me before, and I've got that. They're not on my Mac, but I have my Windows PC as well.
Yes,
so that's
there's
way
two
of
versions.
keeping
One's
that.
white and one's silver, I think.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I've got
one's white,
the-
one's silver, one black.
Yeah, I've got the black one, but
Yep.
it is good in it. And as I said, it never goes flat. And if it does, I don't think I've ever had. I've had the light saying red. It's not very good, but once you just put the brightness of the Mac monitor will even power it. It
Yep.
doesn't take much at all to do that. So
No, that's true. And we have one more item that you found, and this one also is kind of cool. I have one of these. Let's talk about docks. These are expansion docks for your Macs for the most part, right?
Yep.
And this one, let me put it up over here. Now, what brand is this one? This one is...
It's an OWC for the
OWC.
One World Computing. So I will give credit where it's due. I didn't come up with this myself. I was this week watching Stephen Hayward and Mike Myers on the Tech Buzz.
Yes.
And I love watching that show every because they do talk about some good things on there. And they would talk about One World Computing having their new Thunderbolt 2 dock. So I don't, as I said, it's done by them. So I'm not too sure. It must be some other brand. I don't know whether they manufacture things. So it's probably done under license to them, I would think.
Right.
On there, but it really gets my interest because one thing I'm always looking for is you've got all these fantastic connections on your computer. And you think that's more than enough, but as soon as you get it, you find, well, I've used my two Thunderbolt. I've used one for the monitor and one for my Drobo. But fortunately, the Drobo you can daisy chain.
Right.
But if you want another, I want another dedicated one because I've found when you daisy chain, I had a hard drive daisy chain through the Thunderbolt. Sometimes it disconnects.
Right.
And but it doesn't, not much. But if you do a hard drive, it's not very good for having a separate hard drive.
Now,
so I like to have a dedicated port.
Let me put that back on. How many Thunderbolts did this one have?
Well, this one had two Thunderbolt 2 connections, and then it had 5 USB 3 connections. And it also had a FireWire 800 connection. So I've got some FireWire things, and they've sort of left that off the current Mac.
I know.
And a 1 gigabit Ethernet connection. Now, I'm a bit ignorant on that point. I'm not too sure what people use that for, but it sounds like it must be. What do you use that for, Rick?
The 1 gigabyte internet?
Actually,
that was a little odd because technically, whatever device you have would probably have an internet connection. So I'm not sure why you would need a second connection unless no, I don't. You could have 2 network connections on a machine, so maybe it adds to it, or it's just there as a backup. If you don't
I'll have to research this and just find out why, because I know you've probably got the Belkin. I think you've said you had.
I have the Belkin version, which is similar. It was expensive. It was up at $300-something.
I know they're about the same.
And I've never yet opened it. I have not
Sorry?
yet used it. I've had it for now over a year, and it hasn't been used because I haven't run out of ports yet. But I'll tell you, here's another thing. Is another irritation. So I'm ornery today. All right, Apple, Intel, stupid what you did. You develop a great standard with Thunderbolt, and then you make it without a click in. It doesn't fasten. You move your iMac, and it comes off. That's stupid. All right, that's it for me. I'm tired of stupid Apple things, and I like Apple, but those are stupid. You'd think they put something to hold it in. I mean, even USB doesn't come off that easily. This thing just pops right off. It's happened to me before with my Drobo. I adjust my monitor and it slightly slips out, and I lose connection.
And that's right. And I won't tell you what I was reading before the show. I was just reading through a list of what the Apple executives get paid.
A lot.
And so I thought, well, all they need to do is work for a year, and it doesn't matter anymore. They're set for 10 lifetimes, I think.
Interesting.
But going back to this did have also the one HDMI with a 4K display support.
Yeah, with the 60 hertz, 60. So that's an HDMI 2.
And then that had, of course, the audio in and output. Now, a question for you, Rick. This is what I would maybe you would know, but without seeing this unit. But I'll talk through. If I connect this to my Mac, I'd have to use one of those Thunderbolt connections to connect it to the Mac, wouldn't I?
That's correct.
Or how does it connect to the machine? Does it connect just Thunderbolt to there and then use
Thunderbolt
all of the
into the
USB?
machine? So that takes up one of the Thunderbolts, and the other one is just a daisy chain. So that's probably how you'd have to get in on this one.
But that takes all
because
the
otherwise
signals,
it'd be very slow.
So you just connect via Thunderbolt, and then the USBs would be powered to that, and they'd go.
Yes.
The information would go back through the Thunderbolt, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because the assumption is that the Thunderbolt is so fast that it could manage all of that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if the USB you may have to go in through the USB bus, so one of the USBs goes into USB. I'm not sure. Because I
was thinking if it did, then I thought, well, what about the FireWire? That's only got one. You won't have a FireWire to go into. So it's
going to have to do that through Thunderbolt probably.
Because I'm thinking I might get, because it's saying this one's going to be about, it looks saying they're saying $299 normal, but they've got a pre-release at $249.
Okay.
But so I don't know whether but that just seems quite reasonable, as you said, for the other ones around that $250, $300 mark. So. It's not too much different on that, but I thought with all that, I might do that. And I like the One World Computing, the OWC. What's it? It's macsales.com, the actual site.
Right.
But I think they're very good. I've purchased memory off them previously, and when I did have one, and I got a faulty stick, and even all the way over here, it was easy enough to send back, and they just replaced it without any hassle.
That's
and
good.
No hassle ever since. So I thought.
Now, we have one more thing you were going to cover, and this is actually very practical, good advice. Now, we don't have a screenshot of this, so I'm going to have you read these. But these are the 7 Cardinal Rules of Life.
Yes, I'll get to my little list in a minute on that one. So.
And they're really quite accurate. So, Master Blanchard, would you like to show those?
Oh, I haven't got the graphic on there as well, so they said I'll just read what they are as well when I find them on my little cheat sheet. As that said,
Okay.
And with number 1 was make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present.
That is so true. That would put many psychotherapists out of business.
I actually saw this posted on Facebook, so it's not my. And I just thought I kept that because I thought that really is good. And so, and the number 2. What others think of you is none of your business.
I like that one too, because everybody worries so much about what everybody else thinks, and frankly, do you really care? No.
No, not really. And then time heals almost everything. Give it time.
Give it time. Yeah, don't rush. That reminds me of something. I had a martial arts teacher who would always say, if you have to hurry, hurry slowly.
Hurry slowly. That's right. Yeah. It's a bit like that Tai Chi. That teaches you that, doesn't it?
Yes, and he was a Tai Chi teacher, but he was also a Kung Fu teacher. But it was so true. If you have to hurry, hurry. Of course, I was 19 at the time, so it's like, huh? What? I do understand that now. I think, you're not going to get, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You're not going to get there really any faster.
No, that's right.
And it's sort of interesting. Look how many times you're driving fast in your car, and the people you passed all catch up to you at the light. I hate that.
And that's so true. I find in life, if you rush, you never get it done quicker. You do, and you slip up, do something wrong, and it'll take you 3 times as long. So just take your time and do it properly and correctly.
Yeah.
Then the next one was don't compare your life with others, and don't judge them. You have no idea what their journey is all about.
Which is very true. It comes down to the old, walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah.
Until you really know, everybody's really quick to say something, but you don't know how anybody's lived or what they've been through or anything else. what kind of gear they have. I mean, don't judge somebody who doesn't have gear. They may want gear, they just can't afford it.
That's right.
But seriously, that's a great one too, because we spend a lot of time saying, I don't like that person, I don't like the way they dress, this and that. You know, maybe that's all they can afford.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
We're a very
So
superficial society.
Yeah. And they said, stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know the answer. They will come to you when you least expect it.
That's so true. You know,
how true is that? When you start thinking too much, you can never remember things.
What's the old trick, Jeff? When you go to bed, you have a problem, you're trying to figure it out, just go to bed and sleep on it. And by the morning, you probably have it.
Only problem I do that, but I remember I get the answer about 2 o'clock in the morning. Then by the time I've woken up again, I've forgotten it. Because that's right.
Yeah, and I won't. I'm not too good about carrying a journal when I go to bed. When I go to bed, I'm sleeping. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and take notes.
No. It said no one is in charge of your happiness except you.
That's actually profound, because people have a choice. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be miserable. You can choose to make those around you miserable. But you'll never be happy until you're happy.
You're happy. And the thing is, I find with just everything in life, like when you get ill and you get colds, I don't get many colds, and I don't think I'm any different to anybody else, but I don't give in.
Yeah.
If you give in and have a sniffle, oh, I feel crap, you tend to, it takes you over.
Right.
But if you, no, it's nothing. You push it off and say, if you're happy within yourself, you're not susceptible to illnesses. But if you're not happy with yourself, you can talk yourself into illness. I'm sure you can.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Ever since I was 40, now it's been 20 years, a little over, I have not had a flu shot, and I have not had a flu or a major cold. I've had some allergies, but that's just where we live, and there's a lot of dryness in farmlands. But no colds, no flus. No flu shot. Leslie too. Neither of us have had real colds.
No, and as I said, I have one every couple of years, but it's not as bad, not really bad. It's a bit of a cough and a sniffle, but it's not the real bad flu one as well. Then the last one on the list was smile. You don't own all the problems in the world. You know, that's so true. You see so many people going around grumbling, and they said, but hey, you don't have the quota on all sorrow.
And what that comes down to is really, don't watch the news, because the news isn't doing anything for you. It's just giving you the world's misery at your doorstep. And that doesn't affect you for the most part. And frankly, the more you watch the news, the more depressed you're going to get, and you'll be less functional, less productive, less happy. Let's go back to that other point. And why bother? I mean, if you really need to know something, believe me, you'll find out. But those are all very good points.
And let's face it, we're so lucky. When I do that as well, sometimes when you're feeling down and glum, you say, hey, I've got nothing to moan about.
Right.
As I said, there's a lot more sorrow in the world than you thought. A lot of those people have got real bad worries. They smile. I thought, well, what right have I got to be horrible and grumpy when they're still happy and they should be sad?
That's true. It's how you look at things. It's all about perception.
So that's why I thought it would. I would just talk about them as well, because I thought that was just a nice thing, sort of to finish off the show.
And by the way, geeks need to live good, happy lives too. And sometimes it's not just about gear. You got to keep your mental attitude good. So I think very good points. Cardinal rules of life. How hard does that get?
And well, all those things is, you can use them to your advantage when you're talking to a salesman. Smile.
That's right.
And just don't judge him. He might give you a bigger discount.
That's true. You never know. You never know.
So
but keep your hand on your wallet, though, just in case.
Well, that's right. But it's always best to be nice in life. I think you get along better with being nice and grumpy. So sometimes you might have to get to a little bit aggressive, but you can be nice about it at the same time.
Yep. So. Now, by the way, I don't know if they announced it today or released it, but Windows 10 was announced. There was some big announcement today, and they showed it, and it runs on all the different platforms. It actually looks really good. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the Mac killer. I don't know, but they've jumped over 9. They skipped version 9. They went right to 10, and they They got rid of 8.1 doesn't look like anything anymore. What they did is they took the Metro, a little bit of the Metro interface, and made it part of the start bar, the dock. And so far, it looks nice, and it looks like it's got contrast back. It's readable. My fingers are crossed that they didn't blow it.
Well, I hope so, but too, because I heard about that a while back when they was talking about Windows 10, and I thought that looks quite interesting. Because that's really, because Windows isn't, no matter about, some people just love Mac and hate Windows.
I know.
I'm one, I love my Mac, but I can't say I hate Windows. It does a damn good job, and I'm just happy to see if they have one to replace 8, because I hear so many problems with that. I was more than happy with 7. So I'm going to be happy with 10, I think, with the Windows.
I think so, too. From what I've seen, it looks nice, and it's going to be fast, and they've done good things. I think they had to. And from what I've seen of the interface, it's more powerful. Well, the Mac is interesting. It has a nice interface, but it's never been as powerful. Like Finder is almost a joke. Finder is really primitive compared to the File Explorer. It doesn't do half as much. But it's nice. It works okay. It's a little more customizable. But from a power point of view, it's rather limited.
But it is quite different, aren't they? Because I know when I'm in Windows, I use the Finder a lot, the file structure much better. But in the Mac, you don't use it. You just use it differently. I don't know why, but it's just different.
Yep, that's true.
But I hope it does work out because, as I said, I would hate for one platform to get the dominance over the other too much, because I think they work great. Like Mac wouldn't have come out with half the things that they do have if Windows weren't there. And same thing, Windows wouldn't have done it if there wasn't a competitor there.
No, and people forget that both Apple and Windows stole from different people and each other. So Apple didn't come up with Windows or their interface. That came out, I think, Xerox back when. They were the ones who first designed that. And then I think Xerox also designed the word processor that Windows basically kind of took and made the original DOS-based Windows. So there's been a lot of borrowing from one to the other. I guess that's the nature. They said there was only one real programmer in the world, the first one, and everybody else has copied. So who knows? Well, anyway, Jeff, this was fun, a good show, and some lessons to live by. So don't forget those. Because if you do, then that's 2 points against you. You're not in the chat room, and you're not following your good life. So,
there should be another one. Thou shalt every week go out with your new Panasonic camera.
That's true. You can't have enough of them. I was sitting last night going, I've got 3 of them. I need to do something now. Yeah, it's like, we need to start going to do some video shoots. But
it's a pity we're not in the same country, because we could spare each other on. I could say, let's get in the car, let's go somewhere and do something.
Yeah, and that'd be fun. So you need to relocate. I'd relocate there, but I don't think my wife would let me. Not now, not yet.
That's right. What I was also thinking about, maybe I just saw somebody else doing a Google Hangout. I thought I've got to try one of them sometime, see how that works.
They're interesting. They're just so. They have issues. If you can get in to the Hangout, you've solved 50% of the problems. Getting in, it's confusing. I know a lot of people. I've been to about 5 or 6 of them. They're confusing, and the people running them are having problems. Everybody's having problems. Google didn't make it easy.
No. So, well, I'm just thinking that even when doing things like this, I think I have to get another one with a separate monitor, so to share my screen or to do it on the desktop presenter, it's nearly impossible to do it on one screen without showing your interface on the screen.
That's right.
Because you could do it and then you've got to quickly hide that, and then to switch back, people will see your screen.
Yeah, it's
so
interesting.
you need a double monitor to do that. So.
Yep. Well, for you guys in the chat room, however many aren't there, we wish you a great weekend, and we hope you're here next week. And for those watching the recording on Vimeo, you're going to have a choice this week. You're going to have it on Vimeo and on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So I actually found my YouTube channel with 40-something thousand views, and a lot of the old shows that they're about halfway to where we are now. But we're going to start uploading. We're going to have all the Tech Down Over uploaded onto YouTube. Not sure if I'll be able to do it this week, but we'll try.
Oh, good.
So we'll have a lot more stuff to put up on YouTube and share some of the joy.
Oh, good.
All right, everyone. Have a good one. Jeff, we'll see you next week on Tech Down Over.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.